ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भाम्
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम्
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम्
वन्दे
वन्दे
गुरुपरम्पराम्।
गुरुपरम्पराम्।
ॐ
ॐ
सहना भवतु
सहना भवतु
सहनौ
सहनौ
भुनक्तु
भुनक्तु सह
सह
वीर्यं
वीर्यम्
करवावहै
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा
विद्विषावहै
विद्विषावहै।
ॐ
ॐ
शान्ति
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 शान्ति शान्ति
शान्तिः।
Om Tat Sat, Om Namah Shivaya. Good morning, everybody.
Om Tat Sat.
ॐ तत्सत् ॐ नमः शिवाय।
Okay, so we are on the 12th section, 6th chapter, 3rd mantra. So let us just chant it. Saya Esha Anima
स य
य
एष
एष
अणिमा
Etad Atmyam Idam Sarvam Tat Satyam
एतद्
एतदात्म्यम्
आत्मैदम् इदं
सर्वं
सर्वं
तत्सत्यम्
सत्यम्
Sa Atma Tattvamasi
स
आत्मा
आत्मा
तत्त्वमसि
तत्त्वमसि
Shvetaketo Iti Bhuya
श्वेतकेतो
श्वेतकेतुः इति
इति
भूय
एवमा भगवान् विज्ञापयत्विति तथा सोम्येति होवाच
एवमा
भगवान्
भगवान्
विज्ञापयत् तथा
ज्ञापयतीति
सौम्येति
तथा
होवाच
सौम्येति होवाच।
सः यः एषः अणिमः. Anima is the subtle one, subtlest one. Saya esha anima. This Brahman is subtler than its karya. So sa is Brahman. Eshaha is the product which is the universe, so Jagat Karana. So Saya Eshaha Anima, this Brahman is more subtle than the Jagat, its product. And Etad Atmyam Idam Sarvam. This Brahman is the very essence, the content of the entire Jagat. Why? Tat Satyam Sa Atma. That the Atma of that Tat, that Jagat, is what? Is Brahman. So Tat, that Jagat, Satyam, the essence, Sa Atma is the Atma itself. So Brahman is the very Atma of the universe. The very Atma meaning the essence, is inner essence. And therefore only by knowing the that one Brahman, everything else is known. And now the final lesson is given. Tattvamasi Kshetraketo, that Brahman you are, O Shvetaketu. And again, because the topic is so subtle, Shvetaketu says, Iti bhuya eva ma bhagwan, vijñapayat viti iti. Please teach me once again, O Lord. And again, so Uddalaka says, Tatha somya iti hovacha. It's fine. He said, okay, no problem. I will teach you again. With that, the 12th khanda ends. And we go to the 13th khanda, Trayodasha khanda, first mantra. So 6, 13, 1. Lavanam etad udake avadhaya.
लवणम्
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 एतत्
एतत्
उदके
उदके
अवधाय
अवधाय
अथमा प्रातर उपसीदथा
मा
मम
प्रातः उपसीदथा
प्रातरुपसीदथा
इति सः तथा
इति
इति
स
सः
तथा
तथा
चकार तं होवाच
चकार तं
चकारतं
होवाच
होवाच
यद्दोषा लवनम् उदके अवाधा
यद्दोषालवणम् उदके
यद्दोषालवणम्
अवाधा
उदके अवाधा
अङ्गं तदाहरेति
अङ्गं
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 तदा
तदा
हरेति
हरेति
तद्भावमृश्य न विवेद
तद्भावमृष्य न विवेद
तद्भावमृश्य न विवेद
So since Shvetaketu says, I have not understood, please teach me again. So as I said before, when you teach a theory class, and when the students don't understand, it's usual to take an exam. So this is what is happening here. The teacher is giving an example. Dalaka wants to say that this Brahman, the Sat Brahman, is inherent in the entire creation. Why? That's why it's called Upadana Karana. And like the gold is inherent in all the ornaments. So the question really is that if you are saying that Brahman is the very essence, is there present in all the creation, why is it that I cannot recognize it? So the answer is simple. Recognition of the essence, in this case Brahman, requires an appropriate pramana, appropriate instrument of knowledge. And so teacher gives an example. He says, if you take some salt and dissolve it in water, if you look at the water, you cannot recognize the salt. If you touch the water, you cannot recognize the salt. What is the pramanam you should use to know that there is salt in the water?
Taste.
Taste.
The taste. Therefore, it requires appropriate pramanam to recognize a product. And therefore, similarly, to recognize Brahman, there is only one appropriate pramanam, and that is Vedanta Shastra. So that's what he says here. Lavanam etad udake avadhaya. Lavanam, salt. Avadhaya, put it in water. Udake, put it in water. Ataha, now he says, prataha ma upasid atha iti. Tomorrow morning, prataha, you come to me. Right? Ma upasid atha, be present before me. And saha tatha chakara, therefore, and then you have to say this is next morning now. When Swetaketu has gone, put the salt in the water, kept it overnight, and now he has come with the vessel carrying salt water. All that to supply. Saha tatha chakara, and then tam hovacha, Udalaka said, yad dosha lavanam udake avadha. So dosha, last night you put the salt, lavanam, in the water, and angam tadahareti, oh dear one, that salt, angam, that salt which you put in the water last night, ahara iti, bring it to me. Right. So what is he saying? You put salt in the water last night, you have brought the vessel to me. Obviously, that vessel contains the salt. Give me the salt. So tat ha avamrishya. Avamrishya is feeling, looking for the salt. So this Shvetakatu has to put his hand in the water and he tries to look for that salt. Naviveda, he does not find the salt. Okay, so this mantra, what has happened so far. Now we will go to mantra number 2. So please unmute, we'll chant. Yatha vilinam
यथा विलीनं
eva angasi
एव
वासि
antadachameti kathamiti
अन्तादाचामीति
अन्तादाचामीति
कथमिति
lavanamiti
लवणमिति
लवणम् इति
madhyadachameti kathamiti
मध्यादाचामीति कथमिति
lavanamiti
लवणमिति
antadachameti kathamiti lavanamiti
अन्तादाचामीति कथमिति लवणमिति
अभिप्रास्यै तत् अथ
अभिप्रास्यैतत् अथ
मा उपसीद तथा
मा
मा
उपसीद तथा
इति तद्ध तथा चकार
इति तद्ध तथा चकार
तत्स्वं संवर्तते
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 तं होवाचात्र
तं होवाचात्र
वाव किल सत् सौम्य
किल सौम्य
न निभालयसे
न निभालयसे
अत्रैव किलेति
अत्रैव
अत्रैव
किलेति
किलेति
So in the last mantra I said Naviveda can't find the salt, and now Udalaka explaining why. Yatha vilinam eva akasi, because that salt has vilinam, has dissolved in the water. So, but he says now use your correct pramanam, which is what? The tongue. And in the tongue. And he says antada chameti. So this has to be properly broken up. Antat achama iti. So achama means taking little water and sipping it. Right? Achama. Antat achama iti. So this anta here is the top. So he says from the top, you take some water and sip it. Kathamithi, what do you find? Lavanamiti, salt is there. Okay. Now he says put your hand in the middle of the vessel and madhyadachameti. You bring out the water from the middle of the vessel, take it in the hand, sip it. Kathamithi, lavanamiti, salt is there. Okay. Then antat achameti, you have to go to the bottom of the vessel. So there are two anta. The first anta is top of the vessel. The second anta is bottom of the vessel. You bring the water from the bottom of the vessel. Kathameti, lavanameti, salt is there. So all three throughout the vessel, salt is there. Then he says, aviprapse etat, throw away that water. Athama upasidatha iti. And then come to me. So tadha tatachakara. Shvetaketu did as he was asked to do and came back to Uddalaka. Now what? Tata shashwata samvartate. Shashwata means eternally, always. Therefore, that lavanam, that salt, is there in the water all the time. And even when you were not able to find it, it is there. When you're looking at it, you were not able to find it, it is there. It was there. And now when you're tasting it and finding the salt is there, it is still there. What is the reason? You were not able to find it earlier because you did not use the proper pramana. And therefore, tam hovacha travava kirasat somya. In the same way, O Somya, that Brahman is present, na nibhalayase, but you were not able to see that Brahman. Atraiva kileti, though it is indeed present here itself. So what is the thing? The existence principle, Sat principle, Brahman, na nibhalayase, you are not able to appreciate, you are not able to see, you are not able to experience. Even though that Sat Brahman is all pervading, you are not able to appreciate the existence of that Brahman. Not because it is not there, but because you are using the wrong pramana.
Wrong Brahman.
Right? If you are using the wrong pramana, you will not be able to see. You will get the pramayam anyway. So if you use your nose, you will register smell. If you use your tongue, you will register taste. And all this five pramanams of yours, they deal in what field? In the field of matter. And Sat is not in the field of matter, is not in the field of anatma. Brahman is not in the field of anatma. That is why your instruments cannot function. So no pramanam which you have, the worldly pramanam which you have, none of them can show you that Brahman. You will not be able to understand. Okay. Okay. Obviously, there is a limitation in this example, and the Brahman, it's a Brahman fact. What is the limitation? You can say that I can see the salt under one condition. What is that?
Drying out the water.
Sorry?
Evaporating the water.
Yes, you evaporate the water and you can see the salt, but you cannot say that, you evaporate the universe and then I can see Brahman. So that is a limitation of the example that we must remember. All anatma examples have to be understood with the limitation factor. Now we see the third mantra. Saye esha anima
स य एष
Anima.
अणिमा
etad atmyam idam sarvam
एतदात्म्यमिदं
Etam
सर्वं
sarvam.
सर्वम्
tat satyam sa atma
तत्सत्यं च
Satyam
तत्सत्यं स
आत्मा
आत्मा
tattvamasi shvetaketo
तत्त्वमसि
Tattvamasi
श्वेतकेतो
Shvetaketu.
iti bhuya eva ma bhagavan
Iti
इति
इति
भूय
bhuya
एव मा
एव
eva
मा
ma
भगवान्
भगवान्
bhagavan.
viज्ञापयद्विति तथा
विज्ञापयत्विति तथा
विज्ञापयत्विति तथा
सौम्येति होवाच
सौमेति
सौमेति
होवाच
होवाच
same idea. Saya esha animaha. This Brahman is subtler than the product, the karyam. Etat atmyam idam sarvam. This Brahman is the very essence, atma of the whole universe. And that satyam sa atma because the sat part of it, the existence part, is there in the universe also as its very content, as the atma, the very content. And that is why by knowing the karna, everything else is known. And again, tattvamasi shetpaketo. That Brahman you are, O Shetoketo. And again he says, please teach me once again, O Lord, because I have not understood. And again he says, Tatha Somyati, Ovacha, Yati, Trayodasho Khandaha. Okay. This Tattvamasi Shvetaketo is repeated several times. So when you finish the chapter, you will find that 9 repetitions are there. So we look at Chaturdasha Khandaha, the 14th section, first mantra. यथा सौम्यपुरुषं गन्धोर्विह
यथा
Yatha
सौम्यपुरुषं गन्ध
अभिन अभिनदाक्षमनामानीय
Abhinadakshama
अभिनदाक्षमानीय
तं ततोति जने
तं
Tato
ततोऽस्ति जने
Tate
विसृजेत् स तथा यत्र प्राङ्व
विसृजेत् स यथा तत्र प्राङ्मुख
Prangva
उदं वा अधरां वा
उदं वा अधरां वा
अधरां वा
प्रत्यं वा
प्रत्यं
प्रत्यं
वा
वा
Pratyangva
प्रध्यमायीत
प्रद्यमायित
Pradhyamaita
प्रद्यमायित
अभिनदाक्ष आनीतः
अभिनदाक्ष
अभिनद्वाक्ष
आनीतः
Anita
अभिनदाक्षो विसृष्टः
अभिनदाक्षो
अभिनदाक्षो
Abhinadaksho
विशिष्टः
विसृष्टः
Vishrishtaha.
So this is a story. Okay. And what is being told is how it is important that instructions be given. How it is important that the Acharya be present for you to get the right understanding. So what is the story? There is a person who belongs to Gandhara. Gandhara is a place. Present day, what? What is the present day?
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan. So Gandhara Desha is present day Afghanistan. So a person who was Gandhara Deshavasi, an Afghanistani, was kidnapped. And the kidnappers, they took away all his money and all his possessions. And not only that, they took him blindfold and left him in the middle of a forest. Okay, so those days, once you got your money, you didn't go and kill that person. No, pointless. You got your money already, right? So how will he comes out? How will he come out? So he thinks, if I can find a guide then that guide can take me home. So that's this part of the mantra. And the same way, the sadhaka who is lost in the world of samsara can go home only if he finds a guide, an acharya. That's what is said here. Yatha Somya, just as, oh dear one, Gandharabhya, the person from Gandhar, Gandharabhya Purusham, the person from Gandhar, Abhinadha Akshaha. The breakup is Abhinadha Akshamaha. Abhinadha Akshaha. Abhinadha Akshaha means a veiled or a bandage put over the eyes. Aksha is eyes. Abhinadha is a bandage. A bandage is put over the eyes, or a blindfold is put over the eyes. And tam tatho atijane visrajet. And he was left atijane. Atijane means without people, uninhabited place. So tam tatho asijane visrajet. He was left in a place without people, uninhabited place, lonely place. And what did he do? Sayatha tatra prangvaha. He looked in the eastern direction, and Udangva, northern direction, and Adharangva, southern direction, and Pratyangva, western directions. And Pradhyamayita, he started shouting in all these directions, saying, Abhinandaksha Anitaha, somebody has brought me here blindfolded, and Abhinandakshaho Visrashtaha, and I have been left here blindfolded. Now the second mantra. Tasya yatha abhinahanam
तस्य यथा अभिनाहम्
pramuchya
प्रमुच्य
prabhuyat etam disham gandharaha
प्रभूयादेतां
प्रभूयादेतां
दिशं
दिशं
गन्धार
गन्धर्वः
etam disham vrajeti.
एतां दिशं
एतां
व्रजेति
दिशं व्रजेति
Sagramad gramam prichan
सग्रामात् ग्रामं
ग्रामात् ग्रामं
ग्रामं
पृच्छन्
pandito medhavi gandharaneva
पण्डितो
तो मेधावी
मेधावी
गन्धारमेव
गन्धारमेव
upasam upasamyat upasampadyeta
उपसम्पद्येत
उपसंहृतेत
एवमेह इह आचार्यवान् पुरुषः
एवमेव
आचार्यवान्
पुरुषः
पुरुषः
वेद तस्य तावदेव
वेद
वेद
तस्य
तस्य
तावदेव
तावदेव
चिरं यावन्न विमोक्षये
चिरं
चिरं
यावन्न
यावन्न विमोक्षये
अत सम्पत्स्य इति
अत सम्पत्ति
सम्पद्य इति
So you have to supply by some good luck. Somebody came forward. Prarabdha is good. Somebody came forward. And tasya yatha abhinahanam pramuchya. So you may wonder why he could not take off the blindfold himself. So he had probably accept that he was tied up and kept. Right? Not written. But that is the only reason to say why somebody had to come to take off his blindfold. And he was shouting also, right? I've been left blindfolded, I've been left blindfolded. So tasya yatha abhinahana pramuchya, somebody came and took off the blindfold and prabhuyat and told him, prabhuyat, eta nisham gandharaha. The gandharaha is in that direction, and therefore etam nisham vajreti. So go in that direction, and not only that, sa gramam grama prichan. As you go, you will find each village is coming up. At each village, you should ask, am I going in the right direction for Gandhara? Right. So, to get to the destination, what all do you require? Medhavi Panditaha. He requires, first of all, the Panditaha, the knowledge given by somebody, and Medhavi, the intelligence required to ensure that he understands the knowledge and keeps on going in the right direction. And if he does that, what will happen? Gandharaneva upasampadyeta. He will reach Gandhara. he will reach his country or his state. And eva meha iha, in the same way, here also, literally. So it means that in the same way also, Jivatma has to reach Paramatma by first finding a guru who will tell him how to reach, and then doing what the guru tells him and going back to the guru occasionally for feedback. Am I in the right direction? So, which is this forest that the Jivatma is caught in? It is the forest of samsara. As Shankara says, this forest is the anatma forest, the Sharira Trayam, the three bodies. And how did he come to the forest? Because of his prarabdha only. And what is the blindfold? The blindfold is the asha pashaha, the noose of desire. And what is all the shouting? If they say,
Emotion.
well, what did the shouting do for the traveler? Dara.
Is it Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, which got him the Chitta Shuddhi and he found the Acharya?
Yeah. So the shouting can be your karma yoga, upasana yoga, prayers to the Lord, all sort of prayers in all sort of directions, in all sort of temples. And because of the punyam generated by the prayer, what will happen? The Lord will send a teacher, acharya, who will remove the desire and then say Tattvamasi. Right? Therefore, Pandita is not sufficient. Because in the first place, like Indra did, they will all take the body as Brahman. Right? So in Meda Shakti also, independent intelligence and thinking, independent intelligence also. So Shruti is never spoon fed to you. You always have to use your thinking to arrive at the conclusion because it is only when you use your thinking ability to arrive at a correct conclusion, then only you will be convinced that yes, this is the right conclusion. So Upanishad says that Jagat has come from Brahman. That much Shruti says. But Shruti does not say, remember this very nicely, Shruti does not say whether Jagat is Mithya or Satyam. And to know whether Jagat is Mithya or Satyam, you need an Acharya, and the Acharya's teaching has to be supported through your independent intelligence and independent thinking. So here, independent thinking is Medhavi. Shruti support is Panditaha. Both are required to get Jnana. Because without Shruti support, the logical thinker will come out with his own philosophy. Like what? Like Buddhism, Charvaka, etc. And therefore we say Acharyavan Purushaha Vedaha. The person who has an Acharya, only he will get the knowledge. And that is why whenever somebody says that, I know Vedanta, what is the first question you should ask? Not what is Brahman?
Which Sampradaya?
Which Sampradaya? Who is your Acharya? You have to ask that. You don't ask him, are you a Sanskrit Pandit or not? It doesn't matter. His guru could have taught him in Italian for all. But does he have a guru? And is the guru somebody who has studied the scriptures? Is the guru part of a sampradaya? And then now the mantra gives the jnana phalam. The jnana phalam is what? Videha mukti. So tasya tavat evam chira. For him, that much time it will take. Tavat evam chira. That much time it will take. Yavan na vimokshaye. As long as the prarabdha karma is not over. And then, atha sampatyasa iti. So then, after the prarabdha karma is over, sampatasya iti, he will merge with Brahma. And therefore, merging with Brahma, because it is connected to yavanna vimokshiye, until the prarabdha is over. So you have to say that the complete sentence translates as, he will get Jivan Mukti and continue in the body until the prarabdha karma is exhausted. And then ataha, then after karma is exhausted, sampattasya iti, he will get videham. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, mantra number 3. Sahaya esha anima etad atmyam idam sarvam
idam sarvam
tat satyam sa atma tattvamasi shvetaketo
तत्सत्यम् आत्मासि
श्वेतकेतोमिति
श्वेतकेतो
iti bhuya eva ma bhagavan
इति
इति
भूयमा एव
एव
मा
मा भगवान्
vignapayatvyati
विज्ञापयतीति
विज्ञापयति
तथा सोम्येति होवाच.
तथा
तथा
सौम्येति उवाच
सौम्येति होवाच
So this is the same. Brahman is subtler than the product. That product, that Brahman is the Atma, the entire content of the universe. And that Brahman you are, O Shetaketo. And again, Shetaketo says, please teach me once again, O Lord. And therefore, Uddalaka says, Tatha Somyati Hovacha. Now, there is a question which can arise, you see. What is the pramanam for knowing Brahman?
Shabda Pramana.
Which is,
This is the Shastra.
which is Shastra. So normally, we say Shastram is the pramanam for knowing Brahman. But in the next khanda, the next section, you will see that Shruti says Acharya is the praman. And therefore, you have to understand that section, you have to understand that when you say Acharya, Shastram is included in that word. Why? Because the Acharya, if he is from a sampradaya, will teach only what is his gurus have taught him, and his guru would have taught him what his guru would have taught him. All of them will stick to what Shastra says. No sampradaya, proper sampradaya, will ever teach you outside the Shastra. So no teacher will say, in my meditation I saw this. That is what is going to be said. So Atha Panchadasha Khanda, the 15th Khanda we're going to start. The first mantra. Purusham Somya
पुरुषं
Purusham
सौम्य
Somya
सौम्य
Uta Upatapinam
उतोपतापिनम्
Yataya Pur Paryupasate
ज्ञातया पर्युपासते
उपासते
Janasi mamiti
जानासि
जानासि
माम्
मां जानासि
जानासि
मामिति
मामिति
Tasya yavanna vangmanasi
तस्य
तस्य
यावन्न
यावन्न
वाङ्मनसि
वाङ्मनसि
Sampadyate manah prane
सम्पद्यते
सम्पद्यते
सम्पदे
मनः
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 प्राणे
प्राणे
Pranastejasi
प्राणस्तेजसि
तेजसि
Tejah parasyam devatayam tavanjanati
तेजः
तेजः
परस्यां देवतायां
परस्यां
तावज्जानाति
देवायां
जानाति
तावज्जानति
So what happens when a Jivan Mukta dies? What is the process for Videha Mukti? So, hey Soumya, Purusham Uta Upatapinam. The Purusham who is Upatapinam, suffering, he is about to die. And Gyataya Paryupasate. When that happens, what happens? This is all part of the Indian culture. When a person is dying, everybody who knows him, all the relatives, all the friends, they all come around and ask, Janasi Mamiti. What does that mean? So,
Do you know me?
Do you know me? Do you know me? Yeah, because his faculties are fading. I'm sorry. His faculties are fading. He's not able to recognize. So he's saying, Janasi mam, Janasi mamati. Do you know me? Do you know me? And they keep doing so. Tasya yavat the manasi sampadyate. As long as his vak does not resolve into the mind. Vang manasi sampadyate, which means as long as the vak indriyam is operational, as long as he keeps answering, then manaha pranena sampadyate, you have to add, and the mind does not resolve into pranaha. So mind is still thinking. And pranas tejasena sampadyate, and the prana doesn't dissolve into agni, which means prana is still active. And tejaha parasyam devatayam na sampadyate, until the pranaha, the agni tattvam, resolves into devatayam, which is the Brahman. Avad janati. Until that happens, he is still able to recognize all the people and tell them, yes, I know you. So this is the Maranam side. Okay. Now look at mantra number 2. Atha yadasya
अथ
तस्य
vang manasi sampadyate
वाङ्
वाङ्मनसि
सम्पद्यते
सम्पद्यते
manah prano
मनः
मनः
No.
प्राणे
prana pranastejasi tejaha
Pranastesi
प्राणस्तेजः
parasyam devatayam atha na janati.
परस्यां
परस्यां
देवतायामथ जानाति
देवतायां न जानाति
Now the final part is being mentioned. Atha yadasya vang manasi sampadyate. As the vak indriyam, the speech indriyam, resolves into the mind. Why does the speech indriyam resolve into mind? Remember, mind is what tattvam? Okay, I'll leave it for exercise. So now you can answer the group. Mind is what tattvam? And therefore vak is resolving into that tattvam. Then manaha prane. Prana is a product of what? Apatattvam, water tattvam. Hence, Prithvi tattvam, that is the what the vak has resolved into is Prithvi tattvam, and Prithvi tattvam resolves into Apatattvam. And pranas tejasihi, prana resolves into Agni tattvam. So again, we are simply saying that Jala tattvam resolves to Agni tattvam, and Tejaha parasyam devataya, that Agni tattvam resolves into Karanam Brahma, devataya. And when that happens, atha na janati, then he is no longer able to recognize people. So all this to understand properly, Sattva must be kept in mind. Same thing. The teaching is always the same. It's different words. Then the third mantra, Saya Eshaha Anima.
य एषः
य
अणिमा
एषः अणिमः
Etad Atmyam Idam Sarvam.
एतत्
तत्
आत्म्यम् इदं
आत्मनिदं
सर्वम्
सर्वं
Tat Satyam Sa Atma.
तत्सत्यं स
तत्सत्यम्
आत्मा
आत्मा
Tattvamasi Shvetaketo.
तत्त्वमसि
तत्त्वमसि श्वेतकेतो
Iti Bhuya Eva Ma Bhagavan.
इति भूय एव
एव मा
मा
भगवान्
Vinyapayadviti.
विज्ञापयति
विद्यापयति
तथा सौम्येति होवाच.
तथा
तथा
सौम्येति
सौम्येति
उवाच
उवाच
I'm sure I don't need to explain that now, do I?
It's a repetition of that.
Same
The
one
subtlest.
mantra. This is the last mantra in every section because he's telling him that, oh Ketu, what all I'm talking about is Brahman only. And that Brahman you are. Okay, that's the mantra. Then Shodasha Khanda, 16th section, first mantra. Purusha Somyota
पुरुषं
पुरुषोऽप्यत
सौम्योऽत
हस्तगृहीतमानयन्ति
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 अपहाशीतस्येयम् आकर्षीत् शीतस्तेयम् आकर्षीत्
अपहासेयमकार्षीत्
परुषमस्मै
परुषमस्मै
परस्मै
तप्तेति स यदि
तपतेति
तत्पतेति
सति
यदि
यदि
तस्य कर्ता भवति तत् एव अनृतम्
तस्य कर्ता भवति
भवति
तत्
तत् एव
एव
अनृतम्
अमृतम्
अनृतम्
आत्मानं कुरुते सः
आत्मानं कुरुते
आत्मानं
सः
कुरुते सः
अनृताभिसन्नः
अनृताभिसन्धः
अनृताभिसन्नः
अनृतेनात्मानम्
अनृतेनात्मानम्
आत्मानम्
अन्तर्धाय परुषम्
अन्तर्धाय
अन्तर्धाय परुषम्
तप्तं प्रतिगृह्णाति
तत्त्वं
तप्तं
प्रतिगृह्णाति
गृह्णाति
सधयते अथ हन्यते
स दह्यते
यते
ते
ते
अथ हन्यते
So this is a story. Okay, it's a very famous story, and Shankara quotes this very often in his Bhashyams. So it is called the Tashkara Drashtantaha. Tashkara means what? A thief. Right? So what is the story? Some people have got hold of a thief. I mean, of a person whom they say is a thief, alleged thief. Okay. So you can't say he's a thief before judgment is passed, right? So person say he's a thief. He's stole things. He's alleged to be a thief. And he brought him before the king and say this person has stolen. And what the king says, have you stolen? So and obviously the Tashkara, the accused, says, I have not stolen. So in the old days, Shastra says, there was a particular method of finding out whether a person is a thief or not, or is telling lies or not. What is that? A rod, red hot rod, a metal rod which is put in the fire until it's red hot, is kept on the table, and the thief is told, pick up that rod. And what is the theory? That if he is innocent, his innocence is a shield that will protect him, and the hand will not be burnt. And if he is not innocent, his hand will be burnt. If he is guilty, the hand will be burnt. Okay, so I would advise you to try this, okay? Because matter doesn't care whether you're a liar or not. Okay, so in the same way, he says, the whole universe is like this hot rod, a rod which is burning hot. And there's one person who says the Jiva, and the other person says he's Brahma. And what is the analogy? When a person says, I am Jiva, if you touch the world, you will not suffer. But if that statement is incorrect when he says, I am Jiva, it's a very subtle example, okay? You are saying, I am Jiva. And Shastra is saying, if that statement is an honest statement, then when you touch the world cannot make you suffer. But if the statement is not correct, if you are lying or you are not understanding what the statement is, you are not understanding the import of what you are saying, and you are saying I'm a Jiva, if it's not a correct statement, then the world will make you suffer. And the other person, he is a jnani. He says, I am Brahman. And he is untouched by that contact with the world. Okay. So let's see how the mantra says. So, He Somya, Purusha iti hasta grahitam aniyanti. The person was brought to the king with his hand tight, hasta grahitam, hands tight. What did the accusers say, Upaharshita, he has robbed. This is the accusation. And Stheyam Akarshita, he has taken without permission. And therefore, you have to imagine the rest of the conversation, right? So, Raja says afterwards, Asmai Parusham Tapata iti. So, what is Parusham? From Parusham, remember the word Parusharaham has come.
The axe that Parshurama holds.
Parshurama's axe. Parshum is an axe, and therefore Parshurama. Okay, one who has the axe. So, Asmai Parusham Tapata iti. Keep that axe in the fire until it is red hot. And Sayadi Tasya Karta Bhavanti. If he has really the Karta, means he is really the person who has done the stealing, then Tata eva anrutam atmanam kurute, and therefore he is telling a falsehood. So atmanam here is reflexive pronoun referring to himself. Tata eva anrutam atmanam kurute. If his own words are untrue, then saha anrita abhisandaha, the person who is holding on to that, abhisandaha is holding on. Anrita abhisandaha, person holding on to the truth, untruth. What will happen? What will happen? Anritanatmanam antardhaya. He is trying to protect himself, antardhaya, with untruth. Right? So you can protect yourself in two ways. Once by telling the truth and one by telling the untruth. And the king says, if he is protecting himself by telling untruth, Parusham taptam pratigranati, when he holds the hot axe, sadhate athya hanyante. He is burnt and therefore hanyante. Hanyante literally means killed, but here we can take it as he will be punished. Right? Because one doesn't give the death penalty for stealing. And this example is to be extended to the jnanam which we discussed. Okay. All right. Now let us see the next mantra. Mantra number 2. अथ यदि तस्य अकर्ता भवति
अथ यदि तस्य
कर्ता
अकर्ता
भवति
भवति
अत एव सत्यम् आत्मानं कुरुते
तत
तत
एव
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 सत्यमात्मानं
आत्मानं
कुरुते
कुरुते
स्वसत्याभिसन्धः
स
स
सत्याभिसन्धः
सत्सन्धः
सत्येन आत्मानमन्तथाय
सत्येन
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 आत्मानमन्तर्धाय
आत्मानमन्तर्धाय
परुषं तप्तं प्रतिगृह्णाति
परुषं
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 तप्तं
तं
तप्तं
प्रतिघ्नन्ति
प्रतिगृह्णाति
स न दहते अथ मुच्यते
स न
दहते
दह्यते
यथमुच्यते
अथ
दह्यते
मुच्यते
So the king is continuing. Atha yadi tasya akarta bhavati. If he is the akarta, if he has not committed the theft, tata eva satyam atmanam kurte, then he is telling the truth. And therefore, so satya abhisandaha, he is holding on to the truth. And because of that, satyena atmanam antadhayaha, the truth will protect him. And parusham taptam pratigannati, when he holds the red hot axe, sana daheti atha muchyate, he will not be burnt, and therefore he will be freed from custody. This is the other side of it. If he is telling lies, his hand will be burnt, therefore he will be punished. If he is telling the truth, his hand will not be burnt, therefore he will be walking free from the court of the king. Now, mantra number 3.
Acharya ji, may I
Yeah.
please?
Yeah, please.
So is this an example for distinguishing the Agnani from the Jnani?
Yes, that's what I said. The one who says, I am Jivatma,
Mm-hmm.
if he is a Jnani, he will not be burnt. But if he is
So
a
the red
Ajnani, he will
hot
be burnt.
axe is Jnanam. So the red hot axe is Jnanam,
The red hot axe of the world.
is the world.
The
Okay.
statement is the Jnanam or Ajnanam.
So can you please explain once more?
See, I'm surprised nobody else asked this question here. There are two things over here. The Jivatma, when I say I am Jivatma, normally you will say I should be burnt, right?
Hmm. But the
But
Jivatma is not burnt, it is the physical body which is
no, the Jivatma is the
drowned.
Paramatma. And if
Ah.
you say I am Jivatma without knowing that I am Paramatma, then you will be burnt. But if you are
Hmm.
saying I am Jivatma knowing that I am Paramatma, then you will.
Hmm. So
And
that
and the
will be.
Jnani anyway is not burnt because he knows he is Brahma.
Hmm.
That is the explanation. It is the knowledge that Jivatma is Paramatma and I am not different from Paramatma that is protecting you, not the mere
Mhm.
statement.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Third mantra. Sayatha tatra nadayeta.
So yatha tatra
तत्र नादायेत
Etad atmamidam sarvam.
एतदात्म्यमिदं सर्वम्
एतदात्म्यमिदं सर्वम्
Tat satyam sa atma tattvasi shvetaketo.
तत्सत्यं सात्मा
तत्सत्य आत्मा
तत्त्वं
तत्त्वं
श्वेतकेतो
तत्त्वमसि
श्वेतकेतो
श्वेतकेतो
Itadhasya.
इति
इति
तद्धास्य
तद्धास्य
Vinyaviti vinyaviti.
विज्ञाविति
विजज्ञाति
विज्ञानविति
विजज्ञायति
So yatha tatra sa na tahyeta. Just as tatra in that example, the person telling the story is not burnt. In the same way, the one who makes the statement a truthful statement. I'll just mute all of you. Okay. In the same way, the person who says Aham Brahmasmi truthfully will not be burnt by the word. Right? If he knows that the knowledge has there in him, that he is not that he is Brahman and not the word. Even when he says that I am Jivatma, if he knows that there is no difference between Jivatma and Paramatma, he will not be burnt. And Etad Atmyam Sarvam Tat, all that is there. Jagat Karanam Brahma alone is Satyam. And it's Atma, that Brahman alone is the Atma. And Tattvamasi, Shvetaketo. You are that Brahman or Shvetaketo. And now is the difference. Iti tadhasya vijnavati vijnavati. That teaching asya from Father Uddalaka, Shvetaketu understood. Right? This is Shruti talking, right? This is not Shvetaketu. He is not saying this. Shvetaketu is keeping quiet. Why? Because he has nothing more to ask. He has understood. Well, this line is not Shvetaketu. This is iti tathi asya vijnavati vijnavati. Shruti is saying that Shvetaketu has understood. This repetition is to indicate that vijnavati vijnavati is to indicate that it is the end of the khanda as well as of the chapter. Right? So, in this sixth chapter, remember Brahman is called Sat. Right? In the seventh chapter, Brahman will be called Bhuma. And before we end, a few more, little more ideas, all based on Shankara Bhashya. So, in this sixth chapter, in this Chandogya Upanishad, the sixth chapter is very, very important. And of course, by now you know that the most important statement in the sixth chapter is what?
Tattvamasi.
Tattvamasi.
Tattvamasi Heshataketo or Tattvamasi. So some rules we should recall in our tradition, Veda is Pramana. And there are many Pramanams, each one having its own field. Like the eye is there, field of vision, the ear is there, field of sound, and so on. And we must remember definition of Pramanam. One Pramanam cannot contradict another Pramanam, nor can it validate any other Pramanam. Okay. And that is why we call it a Pramana, doubtless source of knowledge which does not require a verification or validation by any other Praman. And therefore, Vedanta is a Pramanam. And because we accept as Pramanam, Vedanta does not require validation from any other Praman. Whatever Shruti gives me is valid knowledge. It does not require verification. It is knowledge, not information. Which means there is no further process required to verify this information. Once Vedanta has told me something, once Shruti has told me something, I accept that as correct knowledge and nothing more needs to be done. Therefore, Tatvamasi, you are Brahman, which Shruti is telling me, is a fact. I don't have to go and experience that Brahman. Right? Now you will say that there are a lot of people, especially in the field of yoga, who ask about mystic experiences. So I am not saying that there is no such thing as a mystic experience. Right? There could be. I have not experienced anything mystical so far. But that does not mean that others have not experienced. So mystic experiences could be there for people. But we say these are not for validation of Vedanta. I don't need a mystic experience to validate my knowledge that I am Brahman. My knowledge comes from Shruti, who says Tattvamasi. Then people talk about, especially those who don't believe in what I am saying, what we are saying, they talk about Jnanam and Vijnanam. They say there are two different things. One is Jnanam, which is intellectual knowledge, and one is Vijnanam, which is experiential knowledge, knowledge through experience, right? But we must remember that the moment you use the word knowledge, where is the locus for that knowledge? It is in your mind only. It's in the intellect only. Therefore, you need not say intellectual knowledge. It's a superfluous use of a word, intellectual. Any knowledge is always intellectual. So there is no need to qualify that word with intellectual or experimental or things like that. Okay. For example, we say that I've read in a book that there is a temple in, let us say, Thailand. So that is non-experienced knowledge. But when I go to Thailand and see the temple, it becomes experienced knowledge. Right? And therefore, they say that the words giving non-experiential knowledge is called jnanam, and the words which give experience of that knowledge is called vijnanam. So here we say that Vedanta doesn't um, generally give words like non-experiential knowledge, and Vedanta does not give experiential knowledge also. Right? So there could be one exception, of course. Words can give you experiential knowledge. Sorry. They come under Jnanam and Vijnanam. But there are exceptions, and Vedanta comes under these exceptions. So when, for example, you are given the description of some object which is far away from you, I talk about, some historic structure in Porvandar. That is words giving that knowledge. But when you go there, then you experience that particular knowledge. So there, Jnanam, Vijnanam, you can talk about. For example, there is the story of Karna and Mahabharata. Kunti tells him he's a Pandava. So the knowledge that he is a Pandava doesn't change anything, right? He was Pandava earlier also. But in this case, what is the difference? The knowledge that he is a Pandava and the experience that he is a Pandava comes together. You see, there is no need for Kunti to first say you're a Pandava and then he goes and experiences that he's a Pandava. Because he is experiencing himself all the time. All that Kunti had to tell him was that you are a Pandava. So knowledge and experience comes together. When knowledge and experience comes together, that is called aparoksha jnana. Right? And therefore, when we listen to Mahavakyams, what is the objective of Mahavakyam? Is to understand that I am Brahman. I am the already experienced Brahman. Right? I have been experiencing I all along in my life. Now, Shruti tells me that you are that Brahman. That knowledge is already there now because Shruti told me. But the knowledge of the experience of I was there all the time. Those two combined. That experience which was there is combined with the knowledge is now given to tell me that. So that's basically what is said. And with that, the 6th chapter is over. The next class, we will start the 7th chapter. I'll try to send you a PDF or something. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya
Purnamādāya
Purnameva Vasishyate
Purnamevāvasishyate.
Om
Om
Shanti
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 Shanti.
Om Tat Sat Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your patience. Om
Thank you, Acharya.
Thank you, Acharya ji.
Thank you so much.